Great morning, champions. This is Tracy Randall. I'm excited today to share some information that I believe will be life-changing to those people that have found themselves in the role of caregiver for someone they love and care about and how they can stay healthy. I know that people will be joining us here on today's show, and this is a little bit different because I am doing this via a new technology called Be Live. I'm excited about this technology. I believe that it's going to be powerful, but what I want you to know is that I can't see your comments. I can't see what you're asking me. I'm not sure how this exactly works. For those of you who are joining me live today, you may have noticed that I am doing the same arsenal this week that I did last week. And the reason is because technology works when it works, but sometimes it just doesn't work. And the broadcast that I did last week on my timeline with the same subject didn't stick. And there were a lot of people that wanted to know more about what I was talking about. There were a lot of people that wanted to share last week's broadcast. So it's really important that I believe that I get this information out. Now, I'm speaking to those people that are part-time or full-time caregivers, and what it would take for you to be healthy. I have a decade of experience working with families with their health, and most of the time, the people that I was helping with to maintain their health or to get better were people that were dealing with chronic issues, chronic disease, and that can take a huge toll on the family, the people around them. It takes a toll on the entire community when someone is dealing with some sort of chronic issue. And so I have a lot of experience, a decade of experience in working with families with these issues. And at the end of the day, I can't tell you how many caregivers, how many people the family that have supported the people that were dealing with the issue themselves. The caregiver ended up at the end of the day collapsing because they didn't have these 5 survival techniques, this 5-step process that I have found to be so extremely powerful. I always believe that when you're educating and training, that you have to have some experience in this process, and I have. For those of you who don't know me, I've worked alongside the AACI for over a decade, which is a nonprofit that educates on the natural treatment and prevention of disease. And I've had a lot of experience in working, as I said, with not just the people that are dealing with the issues themselves, but specifically with the caregivers. How did I get involved in wellness? Well, it started with a health concern, a health issue that my oldest son, Robbie, was dealing with from birth. And as a mom, what we know is moms, whoop whoop if you're a mom, all the moms out there know that when our child is dealing with some issues, we're going to do everything in our power to help our child. And that's exactly what I did. And Robbie was dealing with a chronic disease that controlled our lives mentally, physically, financially, spiritually for over 2 decades. He was 22 years old when he began to really see a turn around in his health. And along in that journey, in that process, I learned a lot. And, so I've experienced it in my own personal life, the collapse after spending year after year trying to take care of someone, especially a child who you love dearly, who is also dealing with some sort of health challenge. Also, my husband and I actually took 3 teenage boys to live in our home who were dealing with some issues, some emotional, spiritual, and even physical issues. And at one point, we had 5 teenage boys living in our home for several years. So you could consider that a caregiver role. Well, at the time, I was doing some things right, but I was doing a lot of things wrong. And I wish that I'd had these 5 steps to survival that would have really helped me to not have collapsed at the end of the day. Because what I found is that when we are caregivers, we spend so much time nurturing and taking care of the people or the person that we are, taking care of, that we lose sight of who we are. We lose sight of our own health. We lose sight of our own who we are, and we take on that role, and it becomes our identity, and it's very difficult to maintain that over a long period of time. And we're at a place in the world today where not all we're the sandwich generation. Many of us have raised our children. Our children are, you know, mine are grown, but for many of us, we have children that are in their teenage years who we are still officially caregivers for, even if they're not dealing with a health concern. It's a full-time role to have, you know, that responsibility as a parent. And many of us are sandwiched between that next generation, and that's our parents, whose conditions, health conditions, mentally and physically are in serious need, and we're finding ourselves sandwiched between the generations. And that's where we are. You know, the statistics are extremely frightening if you look at it when it comes to chronic issues, chronic disease. And one of the reasons that I'm going to be very careful about what I say on these broadcasts is because I want to make sure that I absolutely get the opportunity to share this information and it doesn't get pulled. So I'm just kind of watching my words, making sure that I can give you this information that's so important and still be allowed on the air. So the caregiver is, as we know, the last person to sleep, the last person to eat, the last person to you know, take care of themselves emotionally and physically. And I'm going to share with you why it's so very important that we actually become a little bit selfish in our caregiving. If we don't, then what happens is everything collapses, and I've seen it over and over and over again, where the primary caregiver has dedicated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to taking care of someone with a chronic disease, and then they collapse, and then someone has to step forward and take care of the caregiver. And that has happened over and over and over again. Many of you may or may not know that I actually have just taken on a new role as a caregiver. My mom has come to live with me rather unexpectedly, and we are looking at you know, probably being a long-term place for her to live and stay. So our home is in a little bit of a disruption, a little bit of chaos, a little bit new stress that wasn't there even 30 days ago. So what I'm doing is I'm creating and developing this plan of action so that I won't fall into the trap of what I've seen happen to other people. So I was just on the phone with someone. It's so amazing how God works. I was just on the phone with someone about an upcoming event. It's a conference that she's doing to remind women to take care of themselves, to create this whole self-care movement. It seems rather selfish when you look at it from the outside looking in, but I promise you, this movement is so hugely important. Taking care of yourself first. It's the most important thing that you can do. It's the least selfish act that you can have. Taking care of yourself as the nurturer, the caregiver, the mom, the grandmother, the wife, the sister, the daughter, whatever it is the least selfish thing that you can do to take care of yourself first. So I was just on the phone with this woman who's starting this conference here in Atlanta called the I Am Conference, and I loved it because she was a past Delta flight attendant, and we were talking about self-care, and she said, you know, they teach us in flight school, or whatever you call it, I apologize if I'm not being politically correct, that's not my expertise, but she said they teach us that when the oxygen masks fall, we put the oxygen mask on ourselves first as flight attendants, and then we go out and heroically do what we're trained to do, and that's help save those passengers and make sure that their needs are taken care of. And you know, when they're teaching on the flight, I've always used this as an illustration. When you're sitting there on a flight and everything's going smoothly, and then suddenly there's this disruption and the flight begins to have some turbulence, and there's maybe something happening on the plane, and the and the oxygen masks fall. Well, they teach you in that pre-training deal that they do that probably most of us don't listen to anymore, but it's so important. They train us that if you are capable of putting on your own oxygen mask, to do that first, because what was happening is, as nurturers, as caregivers, we go into this heroic mode and we begin to take care of everyone else instead of ourselves. But what they know is that you only have a couple of minutes without the oxygen yourself, and then you die, you pass out, and now you haven't helped those people around you because they're incapable of helping themselves. They're incapable of putting the oxygen mask on themselves. So step number one is you must develop a system where you are taken care of. You must develop a system of we can call it, what was the word I just used? A system of being a little bit selfish. Your selfish system needs to be in place. What is it that it's going to take for you to maintain good health? So you always want to create that system and that strategy for yourself first. How are you going to put on your oxygen mask first? And then what are you going to do to take care of those people around you? So step one, when the oxygen mask falls, when you find yourself in that process of becoming a caregiver, you want to make sure that you create that strategy for yourself first. And I'm going to give you some of that strategy right here. There's more to it, but this is a good start. Number two, we always want to be the hero as moms, as women, and I'm speaking. Typically, it's the women that are in the role of caregiver, and I apologize if I'm leaving out some men who are doing the deal as caregivers, because I know that you are many times thrust into that role as caregiver as well. When the mom, the family is no longer able to take care of herself through some issue, many times the fathers step up to the role. But what I found is that as women, we are typically the ones that take on the responsibility. And if a man is left as the caregiver, many times women will step in and help him. Whereas if there's a woman involved, other women are less likely to step in. So many times it's the woman who is thrust into that caregiver role. And so I am speaking, to the women, but anyone that is a caregiver. So the next step is to delegate. We want to be the hero. We want to do it all. We want to be Superwoman. But what we have to understand is that we have to accept the help of other people, and we have to delegate. There's typically one person in the family that takes on the responsibility. It's the oldest daughter or the oldest sibling that's takes on that responsibility of caregiver, and we have to learn to delegate. We have to be willing to allow other people to take on some of the responsibilities, and we have to start it from the beginning. And if you're already down that road of being a caregiver and yet you haven't delegated yet, I need you to start doing that today. Get help from other family members. Let people know that it's not just your responsibility to be that number one caregiver. And you have to trust other people to do some of the responsibilities. Use their gifts and talents. For my mom, for example, my younger son Ryan still lives with us. So I've given him the responsibility to spend a little bit of time with her every day. It gives me a break. It gives her a break from me, and it helps him to actually take on some responsibility that he might not otherwise do, because now he's learning the importance of family. When you don't allow the delegation to happen, when you don't delegate, then what happens is you absolutely, at the end of the day, can begin to resent your role. You will collapse because you can only do so much for so long. And you're also denying other people the opportunity to be a part of this incredible season in your life. So you want to delegate. If you don't have family members close by, then it's your responsibility to find other people that will help you through this process. This is not something you can do alone. Another thing that that goes in this whole delegation process is that you need to learn how to say no. You are in a season where your number one responsibility is to take care of yourself first, and then the person that that you're taking care of, who you're being the caregiver for. But so many times what happens is people don't know what's going on in your life. They don't realize the responsibility that you have as a caregiver. And so when they're, and because they see you as that person that, and usually the caregiver is the one that already takes care of so many other things besides themselves. And so, you'll get calls, to support maybe your church, maybe to volunteer for ministries, maybe to volunteer for nonprofits. You might get calls to go to baby showers, parties, all of these things. And so many times we say yes to things because we don't want to let other people down. That's our nature. But you have to learn how to say no. And you want to share exactly what you're going with other people, so they'll understand why you're saying no. For so many of us, that whole not knowing how to say no thing is really just stems out of guilt. That is really what we put on ourselves. And so we're saying yes to things because we feel guilty if we don't. And yet at the end of the day, it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the people that you're helping, because they don't really understand where you are. I just think it's really important that you share, hey, listen, right now during this season, I can't do anything else. I am committed to taking care of this person or that person or this situation, and I just have to say no to you. But it's not because I don't want to help. It's just because right now I have to preserve the what I'm doing. I have to preserve my energy. I have to take care of myself. People will respect that if you just tell them, and that relieves pressure. And you know what you'll find a lot of times is when you say no and give them the reason why you're saying no, a lot of times people will say, wow, I had no idea that's what you were going through. Why don't I help you in some way? Why don't I cook dinner for you one night? Why don't I help serve you during this season? And you'll find that as you share this information with people, delegate, say no, that you'll get help from people when you least expect it. It's when we try to be the superhero person and we don't accept help from other people that we lose ourselves in the process, and we lose our health in the process. Number 3, it's over. It's said over and over. We don't listen to it. We think we're superhuman. But number 3 is everyone needs to get the right amount of sleep. Now, so many times, let me tell you what happens when you sleep. When you sleep, you actually are healing yourself. God created our bodies to be awake a certain amount of time and to sleep a certain amount of time. During the sleep process is when our body heals itself. It's when our body can actually rest and utilize any nutrition that we have. Our bones heal, our muscles heal, our brains heal. Everything comes together when we sleep. It is part of our healing process. And so many times caregivers just refuse to sleep. And it really frustrates me because sleep is the most important thing I ever for not just you, but for the people that you're taking care of. So I've always known that. Now, what happens is people will say, they'll brag about it and they'll say, I only need 4 hours of sleep. Yeah, I could live on 4 hours of sleep. Tracy Randall could sleep 4 hours and make it through the day and push through and, use the caffeine and the stimulants to get me through the day and make it through another day. But over a period of time, with just 4 to even 6 hours of sleep a night or less, your body's going to collapse in some way. Your immune system is going to weaken. Your body will never have time to rest. So I make sure that I get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. And people, they think I don't sleep, but I do. I sleep. Now, sometimes, all of us have those seasons where we wake up in the middle of the night and all of that, but rest is hugely important. And I've been a part of the direct sales industry now for over a decade as well. And I see so many times people in the direct sales industry, they're burning the candle at both ends. If you're an entrepreneur, you're burning a candle at both ends, and now you're trying to take care of someone on top of that and trying to maintain your own health. It's foolish to think you can do that long term. Some of my mentors in the direct sales industry, who I dearly love, who I know taught me so many things about myself and how to be confident and powerful and bold, one of them actually said, sleep is overrated. And you hear that a lot with entrepreneurs. But no, sleep is not overrated. It's going to catch up with you one day, one time, in some way. Sleep, sleep, sleep. When you have a newborn baby, that what they tell the mom is, when the baby's napping, you nap. Well, what I know is that as caregivers, typically what happens is we have a job, or we have a business, or something that we're doing alongside this caregiving. Most of us can't just stop what we're doing and go do that. So we have to make sure that we're getting the sleep that we need to take care of business, which is the caregiving, as well as the other things. And so that's it. Sleep. Set boundaries. My mom, who of course I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to be with her now during this time when she really needs me. She came to me when she came here. She hadn't been sleeping at night. She would stay up all night reading or watching TV or whatever, and she'd sleep during the day. I don't have the luxury of doing that. And so what I do is I set boundaries. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. This is how we're going to change some things. And I had to be in charge and set those boundaries, and lights out at midnight, because I have to get 8 hours sleep, and I have the luxury of sleeping until 8 a.m. So I set my alarm for 8 a.m., go to sleep at midnight. I get my 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and guess what? So does she. Now she's sleeping through the night. And I love that, because the patient, the person that you're taking care of, they need their sleep too. And it's better for them to sleep at night. God created us to sleep when the moon is out, and to be alive and awake when the sun is out. And that's how our bodies heal and work the best. And speaking of sleep, we all need a day of rest, a day of rest, a day when you just don't do anything. And I promise you, if you're effective during the rest of the week, you have to let some things go. You have to let some things slide. Sometimes I'll let the laundry slide. I might let the kitchen be a mess for that day. Whatever it is, I have to get my day of rest, and you do too. Number 4, your immune system is weak because of the stress in your life. Your immune system is weak because you're probably not getting all the sleep that you need. You're allowing worry to come in. All of these things, and you're probably not eating the things that you should be eating because you're dealing with all of these things. So your immune system is weak, which means now you don't have the real energy you need to take care of the business of caregiving or your business. So supplement. You have to find a supplement that will help boost and build the immune system. Something powerful, something strong, something that you take every single day. I encourage you, if you've got a friend that's part of the direct sales industry and they're saying, hey, I've got this great natural product that helps you boost your immune system, will give you energy, listen to them. Take something every single day. You have to budget that into your life, and you have to create this habit of supplementing. In the world that we live in today, we cannot get the nutrition we need from the foods that we eat. There's no way. And none of us are eating right. It's very difficult in the world we live in. Our foods are full of chemicals. Our water is full of chemicals. Our products are full of chemicals. All of these things are weakening our immune system. So we must boost and build our immune system by taking some natural supplement every single day. If you don't know what to take, shoot me an email. I'm using this email address right now. It's productsaaci@gmail.com. products, AACI@gmail.com, to give people information about what supplements that I use and I've helped people in boosting their immune system with. Be open to those healthy products. And if you can do it, you want to help boost the immune system of the person that you're taking care of, do that too. Hugely important. Number 5, this is some information that someone gave me right when I took charge of my mom, when she came to live with us, and she had worked with people with memory issues. And she came up to me and she put both hands on my shoulders and she looked me in the eyes and she said this. She said, "Tracy, you're not responsible for her happiness. You're responsible to take care of her, make sure she, is nurtured, make sure she feels loved. You're responsible for making sure she eats right and takes her medications and all those things, but you're not responsible for her happiness." And that has been a huge I guess something that's really resonated with me. When you're living with someone that's in pain, mentally, physically, spiritual pain, doesn't matter. It's so easy to get locked into where they are mentally. And you have to know that you're doing everything. All you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. That's another great concept that someone taught me in the direct sales industry when I felt like I wasn't doing enough. And as a caregiver, especially if you're a caregiver for another adult, it's so easy to allow them to control your mental spirit, and to allow guilt to creep in when you can't change anything. All you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough, and you're not responsible for their happiness. And when you can let go of those and I know it's not easy, but it is doable. You have to do it. When you can let go of some of those things that are causing guilt and just do what you can do and take care of yourself, then everyone is going to be healthier. What I found is that I feed myself every morning with positive self-development. I listen to my pastor's sermons while I'm getting ready in the mornings. I let my mom listen to it with me. I do a devotion every single night at 10 p.m. Because it helps me. It helps feed me. It helps feed my spirit. I need that. And so I've also started, I've always done a gratitude journal, but I've become more consistent with it. Every night before I go to sleep, I write down 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for that happened that day. That keeps our mind focused on those things that are positive instead of the things that are negative. It's so hard to watch someone in pain, whether it be physical pain, mental pain, like I said, or spiritual pain. So you have to protect your mind. And I had Mom begin to tell me what she's grateful for. And she doesn't want to do it sometimes. She'll say, "I'm not grateful for anything. I'm in pain." And I'll say, "Mom, I want you to just tell me one thing that you're grateful for today." And I start giving her suggestions. Are you grateful that this happened? Are you grateful that that happened? And as I begin to speak gratitude, everything changes. A spirit of gratitude can relieve stress like you wouldn't believe, and it can help heal our bodies and our minds. So it's easy to focus on the disease. It's easy to focus on the pain. It's easy to fall into a guilt trap. And I just encourage you that these steps that you take to be healthy yourself first, to put the oxygen mask on yourself, to protect yourself in this process, means that you're going to be better. You're going to be a better caregiver. You're going to be happier. I like to bring laughter into the situation. I like to sing. I'm a horrible singer, but I found that when someone is in pain, if you sing to them and just enjoy the journey as much as you can, and help them to enjoy the journey that they're on. Make them laugh, have them laugh, be silly. When Mom starts to feel like she's in, mental anguish over some things that she can't remember, I'll just do a little dance for her, and I'll say, today we're going to talk about happy thoughts, Mom. You know, I know it's silly, but it works. Try it. Just try it. I would love for you to share this video if you know someone that's a caregiver. I hope that people have felt empowered by the information that I've shared. This is my first time to do it on Be Live, so I'm not getting any feedback as to whether anyone is here or not. And so hopefully people are seeing this. Hopefully it will take. Hopefully there's some comments. I'm going to be sharing more on this journey of survival for the caregiver, because this is hugely important in the world that we live in today. And statistically, things are only going to get worse before they get better. And I'm on a mission to help educate people to walk in abundance in their faith, health, and wealth, because all of those things are tied together to living that abundant life. I encourage you to share this video. After you've shared it, go to my website, tracyrandall.com, and I want to give you a free gift. I have a workshop entitled Get Mad About Cancer, Make a Decision That Cancer Won't Touch You or the Ones That You Love, and it's free to you. It's on the side banner when you go to my website, tracyrandall.com. Share this video, tag a caregiver or someone that you know needs to hear this, and then go to my website and get your free gift. It's 5 simple steps to being healthy, to helping with the prevention of disease. So I hope that you'll get that free download. Do that today. Also, I want to invite you to join me live. Now, I'll be doing it on Facebook Live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time every single night right here on my Facebook page. I have a devotional time. I've been reading from a devotion called Letters from God by Ivan Tate. Powerful, powerful prophetic word that has really encouraged me. And it's not about caregiving or wellness. It's about just really hearing the voice of God for your life. And it's very, very powerful. So join me live and share those videos. If you can't join me live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, that's okay. The next day, go and set a time to watch my devotional video. I think it will really, really help you in every area of your life. Then I'm going to ask for one more thing from you. I would love for you to go to my Facebook page, which is my name, Tracy Randall, and it's at Tracy Cares is the whatever you call it. But go to Facebook, look for Tracy Randall, and like my Facebook page. Every day, 2 to 3 times a day, I post inspirational information that will help you heal, that will help you walk in abundance, help you what I call walk in miracle territory in the 3 most important areas of our life, in our faith, in our health, in our wealth, and really in our relationships and everything that we do. So I hope that you'll go there a couple times, during the day. Just take a look at what I have, share it if it's something that you find inspiration, but help support me. It's a new page, and I would love to increase the number of likes. So join me every Monday at 10 p.m. At noon Eastern Time, right here on my timeline for Tracy's Arsenal, your battle plan for better health. And join me every night on my timeline again at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, the Arsenal's on Monday, but my devotions are every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We're having an amazing time together every single night right here on my timeline. So this has been Tracy Randall with Generational Health. I hope that this has been powerful. Let's walk in miracle territory and according to God's plan. Bye, everybody.